Chapters 2. Right up the elevator is tense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing everything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall. She suppresses a series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures look, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I've seen something that isn't a possibility, a mockery of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else I have felt since discovering the facility. I try to focus my mind on something else and remember Marcus's threat. I wonder if I will see Marcus again. I say mostly to myself. I think Marcus got away from those things, Amy says. So I hope not. Me too, she says, looking at the ground with her arms folded. So I say, how did you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work at the Pentagon. There was some pretty upper echelon stuff that I still can't discuss. Some of this place is even more upper echelon, I say. This place isn't even on the scale, she answers. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. Then why stay, I ask. The money's ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. No, Harvard, huh? That's ambitious. Oh, I know. She's a force of nature. Her dad ran off when she was 3, so for a long time it's been just her and me. Amy pauses before continuing softly. If I never see, her voice breaks off, the words too terrible to say, her eyes full of tears. Later it comes to a stop, the sighting of it interrupting the moment. Amy hastily wipes her eyes and we waste no time in getting back inside the command center. Continue. Already the rifle some discerning that there are more of those creatures waiting for us in the hallway on the second level. But the way is clear, allowing us to haul ass to the command center. Once again, I find myself staring at the screen that shows me my ruined work site. Okay, Amy says, typing command rapidly. It can't be that hard. Keeps peeking over my shoulders, my senses feeling as if the monsters are sneaking up on us mere inches away. Then think of Dennis and wonder how he is faring back on level 3. Is he safe? I look back to the screen to see that Amy has finally found what she was looking for. Prompt on the screen says override off hangar doors and all level 3 locks requires clearance code. Amy types in a number with shaking fingers and the screen goes back for a moment. I want the words override confirmed to come up on the screen. Amy jumps up from the chair and heads up out of the room. But to be quick, she says, we have exactly 20 minutes to open those hangar doors. Let's get moving. Jesus. No time to ask. All are out of the command center and bound back down the hallway towards the same elevator that brought us here. Amy punches the elevator button and the doors slide open. We're taking this same elevator back to the biochem room. I ask, those creatures are still down there. So anyway, back down, she says, the other way is blocked by those hydraulic doors we pulled. Hopefully the creatures left. Hopefully. If I would say anything else as we share a look of immense dread. Step back into the elevator and head back down to the biochem room on level 3. Continue. So the elevator doors open. We peer out looking to see if the creatures are still in the area. But it's all clear. When Amy looks to me, her eyes are clear and strong. Marcus was entirely wrong. Amy says as we start walking back towards the hangar doors. About what, I ask? About how I am partially to blame for this? Why would you be to blame? Some of the things we do here are scary. We should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everyone here with knowledge of what goes on in level 3 is to blame, she says. So how the advanced research facility, I say, doing amazing but risky stuff. So yeah, you're partially to blame by just working here, but I can't understand the dedication. So why don't you tell me a bit more about what just go on in level 3, I ask. Familiar with the Large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland? I've heard the phrase, but that's about it, I say. It's a powerful particle accelerator she was measuring right now. They're using it to try and create what's called dark matter. It's theorized that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe, but parts of the universe are very different from ours. I guess the people at the LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 2019. Here in this city, we were able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was the key to our research. This thing, what does this matter do? Use like Miter to assist with an instantaneous transfer to a subject, but we have yet to perfect it or understand why it works. So you're saying it lets you gain access to different dimensions, I ask? That's a theory, she says. During the point-to-point transfers, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. No way to see or measure their presence, but they exist somewhere. From what we can tell, they exist in a kind of void. Have you done it with these people? We have sent human soldiers through. Almost all of them have returned successfully. I'm making an involuntary grimace. Almost. There was one man, Dr. Kana, who didn't return. Don't know where. She trails off, taking a moment to collect herself. Sorry, I asked. I say, filling my mind started to mend inward again. As we continue to walk between the silos, we walk past the area where we left markers behind. It is all gone, but we found a way out. It is that we are walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We stakes are connected to the hangar doors where Tannis always still is. My guts clenched in my heart, hammers in my chest to feel the door and walk through. With the rifle, but at first it seems that there is nothing waiting for us. And that's when I see the glowing hope shape to my left, closing in fast. Continue. Creature's just about 10 feet away and coming in quickly, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I drive to the ground, making myself a smaller target and raise the rifle. I'm not sure if I should just unload on the bastard, try to be choosy with my shots and weaken it, or at least slow it down. Can't kill, so weaken it. My shot causes the entire milky white frame to jerk to the floor. It flounders a ghost-like tentacles writhing with rage as it cries out at me. It seems to turn and jerk away, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. I look quickly around for others, but there is only Amy. She looks at where the monster went with wide eyes. Her face is pale, and I wonder if, like me, she's able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say. Let's find Dennis and get through these hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down to 6 minutes. I turn towards the hangar doors, and I'm a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that so shocked me before us now seems mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the side of the door. She starts punching the keys before saying, "This is going to take some time." "Glad you already unlocked it," I ask. "I did," she says, "but for this door there's still security programs to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this." She trails off and decides to let her work. Suddenly something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor and I am literally thrown across the concrete. I look up in time to see one of the creatures. It's apparently in no hurry to attack me again, focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. We need to come up with a plan to get this thing away from her so she can focus on getting the door open. This is one of his flickering appendages, making me certain the part of his makeup is pure light energy. I usually take a shower with my rifle, but my can't go see how much remaining ammo I have. The only other thing I can think of is to get him to chase me and lead it away from this room somewhere. Distract the monster I'm around. "Hey, I yell, right here! Come get me! I'm the one that shot you, buddy!" Turns out to me, and I'm again faced with staring at something that has no business in this world and this reality. His body gives off a sort of glow around the central part, a bulbous core that is branched out into two arms, very much like a spider. Again, a sense that this visual information is not accurate, which the best my simple mind can do to make sense of this invincible creature. It starts flicking towards me and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like they're to explode. Now that I'm sure it's going to come after me, I take off running and head into another hall where we haven't been down. I find myself in an industrial looking area and I'm pleased to find that the monster has allowed me through. Continue. The rooms used to be an assortment of old pipes and tanks. I assume some of them run further down into other areas of the facility. With the creature on my tail, I dash into the maze of metal, hoping to lose it. It's definitely having a harder time squeezing through than I am. That slows it down. Of course, the room's not a cage of any kind. The thing is still heading towards me, shredding through the pipes as it rages. Notice that sometimes it's breaking steel girders, but other times it seems like it's somehow merging or changing them. Pipes that were separated are now connected together in a way that makes my head hurt. Trying to get a good amount of distance between myself and the creature, I think he's lost my trail. To get back to those hangar doors, there's not much time before they close shut. If I make a sound, that creature could be on my heels again. Can't escape forever. I can't just stay silent and was twisting myself through some more pipes and making my way back towards the door I entered through. Picture doesn't seem to pick up on this as he's flowing back as I come around. He lets out a static stream that makes me insides feel like jelly. I don't even look back. I slide quietly through the rest of the obstacle course and tiptoe back to the hangar doors. Continue. Burst back into the large room and see Amy still working on the computer terminal by the hangar doors. "You okay?" I asked Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of her facility's steel determination wins out, and she gives a grim nod. Amy's sign of where Dennis went. I asked her, but she hasn't noticed his body somewhere. No, she replies. It's then that I realized that I have no idea how many rounds I've been remaining with the rifle. It's an model I'm familiar with. Outside of some giant and not much of an expert on fire, I'm still unable to locate the chamber easily and see that there were only two rounds. Suddenly catch myself for being too trigger happy earlier. How are we on time? I ask her. 2 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can, she says. Maybe does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there is still no sign of Dennis. I have time to look around, just reaching a sound direction the other end of the room. Bring the rifle up and the shooter stance and turn around. The hangar door is right behind me, no sense of Dennis in the closing window of time. I have to be confident. Yet when two monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. That pendant just seems to jump in time and space, reaching out for a split second, dependent on the body, and then disappearing back to where they came from. It turns and screeches at me, swelling tentacles shaking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself lose control, my mind sliding into the abyss of insanity. I feel myself back on the brink of fantasy and control. Shoot them. I step away from Amy and the hangar doors and towards the monster, ready to defend her. I ready my rifle, but the creature wastes no time and makes that jerking motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest and it flies with me, or through me. It's hard to tell. My instinct is to try to grapple or hold this thing down. Then I realize I don't even know if that will work. Grab it. Try to grapple with the creature, but it feels very different from my struggle with Marcus earlier. It's not easily grabbed. My fingers slide through the parts of it, some parts like a ghost, others like a jellyfish. Touching it burns my hands, burning slightly. I realize I can't grip it, I spring away and turn to face it. I scream with defiance, I raise the rifle and put a round in its core. The shot lands dead center and the light inside of it flickers almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hissing tell static noise. It then jerks away and retreats, at least for now. Another terror appears as if out of nowhere, screaming at me with its high-pitched whine. Bounds forward, charging in its strange, spastic way. And the rifle intended to take this one in the core too. It takes several shots, but still coming at me. Just as it slams into me, I pull the trigger again and realize that my rifle is not empty. On contact, the wind is now knocked out of my lungs, and the back of my head strikes the floor. Neither of these things is as alarming as the fact that the beast is on top of me. Its exterior is like a seashell that has been pounded by the surf for so long that it has lost all edges and bridges. The grip it tries to capture me with is pure violence. I feel those light silk appendages start to wrap around me. I raise the rifle knowing it is empty, but hoping to use it as a wedge to push the thing off me. The weight of the monster is erratic. One moment I feel weightless, another I feel like I'm going to be crushed. Push upwards with the rifle, the monster budges a bit, but almost seems to absorb it, warping it in its grip. See, the core of its body is spider-like shape, connected to the rest of its body by thin white strings to its tissue. I'll be dead within seconds unless I can fend it off or get help. At least rifle and punch it. Doing my best to give one last heave to push it off, and my hands melt through. I curse myself for wasting so many bullets earlier. Two of its benches rub around my left shoulder, and I feel a white, hot pain fill my body. Tentacles burn, and I realize that some are actually going through my shoulder, like a kid pulling apart the stitches of a doll. Then I see the creature extends its tentacles in aggravation while making that static screeching sound. The creature flickers, facing me suddenly. In a shudder and a cry of desperation, I roll away from it. See that a large hole has appeared in the slope in its core. The creature disappears in thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating back towards the biochem room. When it's over, I beat from the terminal at the hangar doors, looking petrified. Dennis stands several feet away, holding a shotgun. He walks slowly towards us, and is clearly just as scared and out of sorts as we are. okay, boss? He asked. His eyes aren't on me. They're looking to the creature, trying to understand exactly what he was just seeing. About 15 minutes ago, I heard the door to that maintenance room unlocked. Dennis says pointed to the room I tried to bust my way into earlier. Ah, Amy says. When I did that override, opened the command center to unlock all the small doors down here, including the maintenance room. I went inside there and hid. Dennis continues, and while I was waiting for you two to come back, I found myself trunk. There are a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one, he says, patting his shotgun. Glad you're safe, Dennis. Thanks, boss, he says, with. She doesn't break her eye contact with the panel almost done, she replies. Suddenly, without warning, a shot ricochets off the wall behind Amy's head. Started, we look around confused. Dennis, go off? Go off? Another shot blasts near us again. We all drop to the floor. Look around, wondering who or what could possibly be shooting at us. Those creatures don't do anything that sounds familiar like gunfire. Then I see him. Marcus. I should have killed him had the chance. He has a rifle and is walking towards us, an insane look in his eyes. You all just have to die, he screams, unleashing another round that I hear whiz mud in my head. Marcus doesn't hesitate. He stands up and shoots at Marcus, causing him to retreat. Much longer, Amy. Almost there, she says quietly. She makes a few final key presses and says done. Doors open with the noise of hydraulics and the whoosh of air. Marcus is pinned down by Dennis as his gunfire is start moving towards the doors. At that moment, another creature jerks into existence around the corner between us and Marcus. Shit, he says and starts loading into it. Then he learns that the same lesson we did, that something slows the creature down. Marcus gives us one last look and then turns and runs off in another direction. Dennis, Amy, and I climb up and head through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. She looked longingly at the maintenance room Dennis took the shotgun from. Come to the hangar, Dennis says. I'll get some more firepower. It's outside of the plant, and Amy heads through the door. Come one side, front inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several guns and looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches out for a 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me and holds out a shotgun in the hangar for me to choose. Both look deadly. The shotgun is more powerful, but the handgun is probably more precise. Handgun. Took the handgun. Took the handgun, and I'm comforted by the way it seems to fit perfectly in my shaky grip. There are more creatures coming, as many as a dozen. They are floating down the hall quickly, their tentacles slithering. The way their light seems to mingle together is almost beautiful. What's the door? I yell at Amy. She dashes to another terminal mounted on the inside of the hangar doors and tries desperately to close them. It's not working, she says with tears in her eyes. This terminal is disabled. Dennis looks through the open doors, readying himself to shoot the first monster that nears us. Should we try to slow our feet down or just run for it? He asks, smiling. You're ready. Let's run for it. Good idea, says Amy. That we turn around and sprint out onto the hangar floor. Continue. The room is enormous, so large that to call it a room seems silly. The large concrete floor stretches out below an expansive lofty ceiling. The area is mostly empty, except for one side, which has rows and rows of metal barrels. Back on the far wall is a lit area that seems to expose more rooms, labs, and machinery. Also in the rear of the hangar, I can see some counter chamber and control center. Dennis and I following me across the hangar floor. Beyond us, a series of rough, slithering sounds tells us that the creatures have made their way into the hangar. Somewhere up ahead, a loud, buzzing noise sounds out. It reminds me of the slight buzzing noise I've heard in the forest, the noise that got me into all this trouble in the first place. Look ahead and see that in the far back of the hangar, a bright red light is flashing. There's a small hatch or door below the light. The hatch is open and I can see a shape inside it. I can barely make out the figure of a man standing there, holding an industrial microphone. As soon as I see him, I hear his huge amplified voice. Blares down over an intercom system and sounds pissed. I don't know who the hell you are, he says, but this is a government facility on lockdown. There are protocols to shit. Soon the curse coincides with the exact moment he sees the creatures. They are making their way through the hangar doors. There are maybe 20 feet between us and the creatures act instinctively firing twice the hangar becomes alive in their hands. One shot comes from the car, one monster across the creature backwards. With a shot slows down another with the accuracy I get with the 9mm is amazing. Amy and Dennis take the cue and start firing as well. The floor becomes littered with a swirling white fluid from the wounded creatures' bodies. They are not slowing down. The alarm keeps shrieking behind us, so when I turn to see if anything has changed back there, I trip over my feet. We hit the ground hard and in almost comic fashion slide several feet across the floor. On the ground, I see that we have managed to turn back 4 of them, but I also see them estimate of dozens off. There are at least 20 of them. Their thick, dim lights and steering wheel. Their appendages seem to bind together as they come forward. My only hope for survival is that the man in the far doorway has somehow shut that hangar doors. His voice comes blaring over in the intercom again, broken by the booming noise of the gunfire that we are laying down. Run here, towards the installation chamber. I'm not sure how much time we have. Ray said I can sprint ahead of Amy and Dennis so I can hang back and give them cover. Keep shooting to cover the others. One side, where that guy is, I say. I'll make sure we don't have any of those things right on our tails. I'll hold them back for a while. I know it sounds macho, but it also feels like the right thing to do. I have to at least try to give us some kind of chance for escape. So as Amy and Dennis run through the doors, I blasted the next thing that I see moving. All I get from our troubles is that static-like hiss and a high-pitched whistling noise. I'm able to beat them back a bit, forcing them to scatter. This flicker of light is a small victory, if nothing else. I'm buying Amy and Dennis time. When I'm certain there's nothing more I can do, I turn and run. I also quickly catching up to Amy and Dennis, and who stop and turn to provide me with cover fire. There, Amy says, pointing to the small door where the man was standing near. Storm is less than 15 feet away now, so furious that they are pushing through one another to get to us. I raised handgun and fire, taking my time to aim. The one in the spider-like part of its body, I fire again, this time taking one in the core. I placed 2 more rounds with the creature, eventually causing it to move backwards. We're in the middle of the hangar floor now, the isolation chamber ahead and the monsters behind. Beside me, Dennis also fires. The kick that the gun jolts him probably as well to him weakening the blood loss. The shot lands true, though, causing a jerking stumble and flickering of his light. We're almost in, Amy yells as we get close to the door we hope will save us. So, Dennis and Amy to come first. Get inside, telling me Dennis, motioning enough to go moving with my gun. Open the door and give Dennis a push toward it. Use this more eager to try taking down another things with more sense of safety. He eventually gives in. I wait a beat to make sure Amy's inside too. I fire off a few rounds from the creatures that are still headed for us, hoping to slow them down. When Amy and Dennis clear the door, I nearly dash inside, then feel something hot seep into my back. Roger, Dennis yells. The pain in my back is so immense that I barely notice the fact that I am being lifted from the floor. I look down to see that one of the creatures in his flowing arms grab me from my waist, his tentacles wrapping around me. Lifts me into the air as if presenting me as a trophy to his friends. Then I focus attempting to angle my arm in a way that will allow me to aim the handgun and place the bullet in his body. But it is shaking me badly, and his body parts are appearing and disappearing in a way that makes no sense in the intricate of its structure. I can literally do nothing more than hang there like a rag doll, hoping to be saved. As he continues to hoist me up, screeching his approval, Dennis comes back out of the room and fires off a shot. The bullet catches the monster on the underside of his core, sending it backwards and causing it to freeze for a moment. It releases me and I hit the ground, dropping my gun and again finding myself unable to breathe. I feel slightly dizzy, without phase when I see Dennis is still standing outside of the door. He's firing into the beast like a madman does to see the one to his left coming in along the edge of the wall. Push him out of the way. I dash toward Dennis to push him out of the way, but there's not enough time. She jerks out his distance, then reappears right behind him. By the time Dennis turns and sees the creature coming, it has already drawn several of his super bandages back to strike. Dennis stretches to raise his gun, but is knocked away by one of the tentacles. The second tentacle strikes and attempts to spin around and thrown off balance by this attack. Dennis catches himself before falling. The tentacle wraps around Dennis' forearm, and I can see it squeeze tightening instantly. The with his bandage matches playing through his hand, his blood soaked tip poking out through his palm. Dennis's face crimsons with pain as he tries to wrench his arm free. Creature's tentacles his hand speared like a nailed wood. In a moment of dark clarity, I realize that I can free him with a clean shot at the monster's tentacles. That will likely mean blowing Dennis's hand off. Dennis, I yell over the creature's high-pitched static sound. Can you get free? Have a shot, maybe. No! Dennis asks the creature, tossing him around by his hand like a puppet. Don't shoot! You can get free. I can't tell if he's right. The other monsters are sounding it. Circle up, I need to act fast. Wait for Dennis to get away. Eventually, Dennis could get free. Dennis is fighting hard, doing everything he can to bring the gun around with his good hand. He's screaming as he tries to tear his hand away, screaming in both fear and desperation. This only seems to anger the creature. Stennis watched Stennis with another of his tentacles opening into a gash across his cheek. His skin peels back and his eyes go wide with shock. The creature drops into the ground, flying from the floor and space around Dennis seems to warp. The bottom quarter of his body seems to disappear before I realize he's been merged with the floor. And at that moment, I know it's over. Three others swarm surrounding what remains of his fallen body. I don't even hear Dennis scream. It's just a frenzy that crackling, sickening wail sound. After that, there's nothing else. Fury, sorrow, and absolute rage surged through my heart. I got my gun and started the beast coming towards me. They'll kill me, but I don't care. This is war as far as I'm concerned. This is. Amy grabs me from behind and pulls me right inside. I try fighting her off, but she's persistent part of my mind. She's right. Don't be an idiot, she yells to me. She practically throws me through the doorway as I fall. I hear her fire off the shots through her, slamming the door closed behind her. I watch blurrily as she punches a few buttons on the control pad on the wall. It's followed by a metallic click as the door pops. We're safe in the chamber, but Dennis is gone. We are now outside a large reinforced chamber, so it's almost like the inside of a submarine. Near us is the door shut tight. Far away from us along the back wall are all sorts of controls and monitors. It seems clear that this metal door is impenetrable, at least to them. I'm fairly sure that they aren't getting in. Dennis, I say. I'm sorry, he says. I'm sorry for looking you back, but you were walking to your death out there. I know, I say. That doesn't make any sense any easier. Didn't quite see, but it looked like you may have had a shot. Did you take it? And yes. But did we get away? Roger says, my God, I'm sorry. There's no way you could have known. Who did I think I was, trying to bring him into this wretched place, hoping to save his life? All the good that did, without letting him die right in front of me anyway. Out of nowhere, an image of Dennis pumping his fist after winning a game of pool pops into my head. Dennis always wins, always gets away, except for this time. It's terrible for me to say, Amy says, but you're right. He's dead. We're still alive. We need to get out of here. How, I say, merely mocking her, taking her one thing at a time. We'll figure out how bad this is and how to get ourselves under control, and then, well, we are interrupted by a man's voice behind us. Just what in the hell do you think you're doing? The man roars. He's an older man who seems to have power and authority, but he also looks tired and scared. I assume this is Barksdale. Pulling saboteurs from the back braces at the chamber. We don't have a choice, Amy responds. We had to. Did you override the locks and the hangar doors? Barksdale demands. Yes, I did, but we had to. Do you have any idea what you could have done? Amy doesn't answer right away. She is furious, but she is also scared and needs to be exhausted. What is this? I just pushed to Amy, trying to get my info from her rather than whoever this is. The man doesn't break eye contact with Amy. Colonel Barksdale, around the place, she says, annoyed. Look, Barksdale, she says, you can berate me and lecture me all you want when this mess is over. Right now, I have a warranted civilian here, and as you can see, several entities trying to get into this room. So if you could actually do something instead of sitting on your throne and yelling at me, that would be great. I'm impressed by your guts and wonder if there is some sort of beef between the two of them. Surely working in a place like this could cause some stress and tension between people. As you wait, I notice a small peephole in the door. I go to it and look out to the things they're still looking for a way in, finding no success. They can sensors somehow see me through the door. That fucking bird. Can't help myself. I hold up my middle finger to one of them and smile defiantly. Get a blast of high-pitched sound in response. You'll be reprimanded for speaking to me in such a way, Barksdale says to me. Reprimand me all you want. I'd like to survive this first. Every year, Barksdale shouts, walking away towards the far end of the room. Stay put until you hear back from me. Making emphasis with the fire in her voice. She then turns to me and says, better do what the man says. Cover your ears. By my hands over my ears, just time to protect my hearing from a deafening blast. Still feel my blood rushing out and wonder if this is what Dennis felt like at the beginning of his end. For the sorrow of losing Dennis can consume me, something slaps against the wall of the room with tremendous force. I assume this is just another of the monsters slithering along the wall, but when I turn back towards the door, I hear something surprising. More burst of a loud explosive noise start ringing out. Looking through the peephole again, I see the core of one of the beasts explode. It vanishes in a puff of smoke and clear liquid. Looking to my left, I see Barkstone shooting stance at the far side of the room, firing through a small slit in the wall. He's using some high-powered weapon, the likes of which I've never seen. I see a slight movement of the gun, kicks accompanied by a flicker of white light. Immediately, another monster is down, descending flailing around aimlessly as most of its core is torn through. I instantly feel gratitude and almost satisfaction knowing that they are being picked off in such a way. I slide my eye up to the people again to watch the red effect the shots are having outside. Because I know what the white liquid and gases the creature's blood, seeing it draws up with Francis' blood less than me. The other is blasted in the center, the translucent shell collapsing into roots. As its light dies out, another is shot in a mess of bleeding tentacles, causing its body to dip in and out of existence. For several moments, my view is blocked by a spatter of white liquid that covers my pupil. The firing is over, but even notice it. Soon after, Barksdale walks back over to our side of the room. They're all gone, Barksdale says, and I have re-sealed the hangar doors. Don't you kill them with that classified weapons that, quite frankly, you have no business being here. Amy gets to her feet and returns to the pound on the wall. Thanks. How bad is this feeling hurt? Barksdale asks Amy. So I'm not good enough for him to speak to. Ask the cat. Amy answers. If he gets some quick attention, he'll be okay. Yeah, I'll have Strickland get him a medkit. Strickland survived? Amy asks, sounding cheerful. Yes, and until you and your friends showed up, I thought we were the only ones. Hang tight and she was on her way. That said, he retreats away to the back of the room as if he can't stand to be around us. When he approaches me and looks me over, you're in good hands. Strickland will be able to fix you up. Is she a doctor or something? Sort of. She's also a physicist. Funnily enough, she spent time as a trauma nurse in the army. Strickland, a friend of yours, asked. Amy chuckles. Yeah, we've known each other for a while. The only woman in a sea of overachieving men. Must be glad Strickland survived. I am. We should have lunch together, she says, and she's helped me out a few tight spots in my career. Then in a few seconds, the door behind us opens and a woman appears from the back further in the chamber. She enters the room with what looks like a small suitcase. She is dressed in a very basic and drab military getup, complete with a hostage sidearm. My name is Connie Strickland, she says, getting straight to the point. Got you up pretty good, but it's going to hurt. I'm not honestly not caring how much it hurts. God, I just want to get out of here, to get home. Sit down, let's see if we can get your shirt off, Sheridan says. Sit down, slowly and silently unbuttoning my shirt. She has to help me slip it off with my shoulders while we manage. How bad is it? I asked. Bad, she said. It almost looks like a burn, but I've seen much worse. You might as well talk to Strickland, only to distract him in pain. You're a scientist too? Strickland rolls her eyes. She gathers up a needle and smooths thread. I was always to French science. Started in labs where these eccentric Russian scientists were being funded by the U.S. to work on combining DNA types. Sort of became obsessed with perfecting human psychology while I was a trauma nurse in the army. You're a mad scientist then, I say? I get that a lot, but no, not compared to the stuff we do here. I don't even want to know. So my mother, Strickland says, she wants to make sure I'm safe and cared for. She knows my job is sort of dangerous, but of course I can't tell her any details, so she just worries. Any other family, I ask? No, she says as she works on me. I'm a workaholic, my husband, no kids, so it's just been my job. And until about a month ago, I loved it. Now, about a month ago, that's when the teams were stumbled onto what they thought was a big discovery. Amy says, answering for Strickland. Yeah, Strickland says that's a big discovery, resulting in 20-hour work days. I've been sleeping in my office for about a week now. When you guys ran in here, she said, I was horrified at those barrels outside. Not sure if you saw them. Well, if you shot them, it could have been bad. Why, I asked. The gray ones are filled with an experimental fuel that is highly flammable. The yellow ones contain liquid nitrogen. What? I asked. Just laying around? Well, this area is the safest in the building, the most secure, well, it used to be anyway. And take this, she says, handing me 4 pills, painkillers. They don't work immediately, but they'll dull the what you're feeling. Are these the best idea? I asked. Won't they make me dizzy or out of sorts or something? All I get in response is annoyed and determined look. Take them. Dry swallow the pills as she starts smoking. Slathers the wound with some sort of liquid that stings like crazy and like gas. I'll grin. Ready to stab me yet? Strickland says. I'm fine. this. And once she dies in my eyes, swollen from more microscope. I grit my teeth in pain and try to catch my breath. That decision was the worst part, ready to find that it doesn't hurt as much as I feared. It's a picnic for sure, but compared to the fire-like pain in my wound, it's bearable. She and Barksdale are the only survivors, I may ask. It seems that way. Those that didn't disappear into thin air were killed by those things, Strickland says, nodding to the secured door. Recording stopped. There it is. Almost made it. Not that I've seen, Strickland says. If anyone else did make it, they're trapped out there with those things. Glad to see you. Where were you when it happened? Amy asked. I was in the micro lab in level 2. Strickland replies. Park and O'Brien were in there with me, and they just disappeared, I guess. It's like they were being stretched, distorted, and then there was a ball of white light, and they were gone. The ball of light just annihilated everything it touched. Would it leave a perfectly round hole? I asked, a light bulb turning on in my head. I saw some of those up at the log, can you say? That was probably the same phenomenon, Strickland replies. Amy looks like a child afraid to ask an adult for something funny. She asks, where did they go? I don't know, Strickland says. It could be an infinite number of different dimensions, or even some dimensions that merge and mix together. It could also be a place that exists between dimensions Barksdale calls the void. How is that possible? We don't know that just yet, Strickland says. Our understanding of space-time is evolving, especially when you start warping it like we have been doing. He adds. That point seems to be the end of the conversations, both women fall quiet. I went through the rest of Strickland's stretching, feeling the tug of my skin, but thankfully no more flowing blood. Finally, Strickland says, you're good to go. I slide my shirt back on and wear the thick pad of gauze that Strickland applied to my shoulder. So have you and Barksdale been able to contain all those creatures? Amy asks. Strickland appears shocked, clearly not the reaction Amy was letting contain. He nuts? Not know what's happening? Amy's eyes widen for conclusion. What do you mean? What's happening other than the initial experiment failure? The anomalies are becoming more numerous and further from the source, Strickland says. The casual human device is not mine. What anomalies? Doorways, she says. Pockets of exotic matter and negative energy that are letting those things in. The failed experiment caused the first one, but it set off a chain reaction. They are gaining momentum along 5 or 6 emanating from the facility. How does that mean? I asked. It means, Amy chimes in, that those doorways and monsters are starting to appear all over the facility, maybe even the surface. Yeah, luckily, Strickland says. The doorways will start appearing on the surface, and this won't stop there. The anomalies' reach could extend infinitely as far as we know. Those entities will appear on the surface in other states or other countries. Holy shit, I say. You mean the world is going to be overrun? Or the past 3 hours has been ready to believe anything? This is almost too much. Finally, yes, Strickland says. Thank God, he says, stepping away. Is there anything we can do? There's a last resort, Strickland says, her eyes darting over to Barksdale at the backside of the room. There's an emergency fail-safe switch. What? Amy says, I never heard of that. Where? When I cleared it for it, Strickland replies. That switch, Amy says, is a way to stop this. Yes, Strickland says, seeming uneasy with their conversation. So stupid. The switches are eraser, he says. Destroys the entire facility and terminates any systems or experiments that are being conducted. So its numbers is shut down for interdimensional travel, send them in horizon around the facility. What the hell is that? I asked, incredulous. It's the perimeter of a black hole, she replies, the boundary inside of which nothing can escape, not even light. There's 2 problems with hitting the switch. Service problems, we'd all be killed, sucked through the black hole before we'd have time to evacuate. Second reason, Strickland is soundly quiet, is that Barksdale won't allow it. What? He gasped. Why not? He must allow those things to flood the surface. Thousands, millions would die. Strickland puts her hand up, silencing Amy. They both go over to the far side of the room where Barksdale has his back turned. I know. He says he doesn't care. He says he'll be happy to be rid of the oversight so he can continue his work. The oversight? Amy almost screams, regaining control over her voice when Strickland gives her another look of warning. You mean our government? I asked. He's aware this could disrupt, even topple our government. He doesn't care. Strickland sighs. Barksdale as well. He's out the range right now. He's gone rogue and he's armed. His comment makes me look towards the handgun I brought with me. I had nearly forgotten it in the last moments. While Barksdale has his back turned, I take in my hands inside behind me. Just in time too, as the Barksdale walks over from the back of the room to our side of the chamber. He has stricken us for speaking to her. This is what I'm going to survive, yes. Yes, he's stitched up and looks good to go. Stricken replies. It's great news, Barksdale says. Sitting right here, and I say sarcastically, you can't really speak to me, you know. I mean, it's quite nice to see that you have a side, he says. Are there any others? The aloof way this asshole is talking to us is getting under my skin. Guy named Marcus that works on the first level from IT, Amy says that's all I know for sure. Marcus Papscott. Barstow says, where is he? I'm not sure, I say. He was separated from us. Oh, Barstow replies, clearly taken aback by Barnes' turn reply. That's unfortunate. Barstow seems to think about something and then look directly at me. With the logging crew, aren't you? Remind me, how did you get in there again? They're both in the service. Makes sense. The folks with the entrance shed are tied to a primary source, Barstow says. We lost primary power just before the experiment failed. Cloak? I ask. Yes, Strickland says. The shed you entered is usually not visible to the naked eye. Running on the power sources that were damaged, Barstow continues. They could have also shut down the locking system before backups kicked in. Everything's starting to make sense now. From the very start, it seems peculiar that Ridge's always been able to walk into a place like this. What caused this moment to fall? Your crew hit one of our main power lines? We aren't sure exactly how, but we know that's what did it. Trying to blame all this on me, I roar? Timing was unfortunate, Barstow says. Where's the rest of our crew? Your crew, Barstow says? Frank and Joe? They're gone. Gone? Gone where? I asked, my voice trembling, hearing his speak the names of my crew and enrages me. They are annihilated by antimatter products created during the failure. Bright ball of light, in the aftermath, all you'd see would be a round hole in the ground. Barstow says this like he's sharing yesterday's sports scores. My face crumbled to my hands. I had suspected this all this time, but they were already dead. Sam asks, what do we do now? Now, it's time to continue our work, Barstow says calmly, turning away to the instruments on the near wall. Same. You want to keep your little toys to yourself, I say? I think it's nice that you're willing to unleash those monsters on the world to do it. Indeed, Barstow says. I want to continue my work. Other researchers will eventually discover what we have shared. I want it to be me. This is my laboratory. These are my experiments. The work I've led here will earn me my place in history. Quite frankly, I don't even need to explain it to you. When the surface, they'll struggle to defend themselves since they won't know what they're dealing with, either necessary weapons. As a human, who knows? Maybe I'll decide the world is ready for me to help them, and we'll go from there. Strickland steps directly beside me and whispers into my ear. I wouldn't push him, she says. He's usually very logical, but this whole thing has pushed him somewhere else. He's well off. He turns his back to us, and as he says this, walking to the far side of the chamber, like we're some kind of distraction. He takes this opportunity to us to hit the switch, she says. It's the only option. What he's saying is murder, treason, genocide. So she looks over to Strickland for support, drawing off. Strickland looks over at the ground, clearly torn. She won't look anyone in the eye and makes an effort not to look at Barksdale. She's distracted with whatever instrument he's studying on the far side of the room. The dreamlike quality I experienced earlier is wearing off. The painkillers seem to be losing their edge. Strickland finally whispers her response. Even if we decide that we want to hit that switch, or someone allows. I'll do something, alright. Maybe you guys get to make a break for it, Strickland whispers. Where's the switch located, let me ask? There's an elevator out in the hangar, Strickland says. Take it to the basement. The switch is at the end of the long tunnel. You. Strickland never finishes. Two things happen at once as she speaks her mouth, stopping in the sentence. First, a loud booming noise rings out, and then the top of her head seems to explode. Amy screams out in surprise, and I jump back in shock as Strickland's body collapses beside me. Behind her fallen body, Barstow is holding an experimental rifle, and now he's pointed it at us. Barksdale is even crazier than Marcus. Just shadow him that worked for him to keep him quiet. Surely you won't have an issue with them killing me. Now, Buxton yells. No more whispering, no secrets. You two will stay in here. Get away from that door. Anyone whispers one more thing, I'll blow your heads off. Mind is racing to figure out a way to get through the secure door into the hangar. Beyond that, of course, there was the fail-safe switch. So Barstow. No other ideas. There's just something I know how to do well. Be noisy. You moron, I say, for someone in such a position of power, you think like an idiot. Kill me, go ahead, but then you better get someone out into those woods to move my equipment. Do you want the police snooping around the wreckage locking site for missing loggers? Someone as dumb as me found my way into your little hideout? I ran to suddenly send did in effect. Barksdale's teeth clench and rage fills his eyes. You're a fool, he shouts. You don't have the slightest idea how difficult the work we do here is, how advanced and world changing. You scientists think you're so smart, but you have no common sense. All the knowledge in the world is useless if you have no moral compass. Barksdale's starting to lose control. His breathing intensifies if you think for one moment that you could do. As quickly as I can, I raise my gun and fire. I don't even take aim, I just fire in Barksdale's general direction. Barksdale takes off running into my shop, misses wide, runs for cover to the back of the room. That's all we need. Amy also fires a shot to keep him under cover as we head for the car. Amy pushes the button and the door swings open. Barksdale will be on us in a second, so we dash out into the hangar, ready to defend ourselves. Amy and I run as fast as we can through the rows of barrels. Barksdale comes charging out of the chamber almost immediately. As he steps onto the hangar floor, he starts shooting. Each shot sends a jolt of fear through me as I wait for a bullet to end my life. We need to get to the elevator on the far side of the room, Amy tells me. He's down below to the switch. Fend off. I both lean out from the cover of the barrels and take several shots at Barksdale. He steps back into the last chamber, which gives me a sense of victory. Then I realize he may just be reloading whatever high-powered weapon he has. We need to move, I say. Agreed, Amy says. We both take off at a full sprint for the inside of the hangar. Somehow I make it through the rows of barrels to get to the elevator's entrance. Turn back to Amy turns her first, but she isn't there. Go back to the barrels and see that she has fallen about halfway down the row. Just in the way to be heard, but she is paralyzed with fear, sitting in motionless as Barksdale peppers the area with gunfire. I'm back. Recover. So I just step out into the open to head back for Amy, but Barksdale gunfire pins me back into the elevator entrance with a loud bang. Down he is. He's reloaded that weapon of his. As sparks fly inches from my face, I realize that I have to help her from here. I then remember the contents of the barrels. One color is solid flammable fuel, the other contains liquid nitrogen. I'm no scientist, but I'm pretty sure liquid nitrogen is mostly flammable unless you're in direct contact. One of those barrels gets shot and the liquid nitrogen spills out. I'm fairly positive it will simply evaporate. We create a cover of source for Amy like a smoke cloud. Ah, hell, but which of the barrels holds liquid nitrogen? The shooting holds us, but I can't remember. I have to remember quickly. Our Brexel is going to get careless with the shooting and we could all die. Yellow. Gravol is yellow. So I shoot the yellow barrel. Yellow barrels, I'm fairly certain those have the liquid nitrogen. Without giving myself a single moment to second guess myself, I aim with one, pull the trigger. It's a pinging noise followed by a hiss. Stream of liquid nitrogen spills out and is evaporated immediately. Amy looks around for a moment, clearly baffled, but then figures out what I've done. She hits the ground right away, and for a moment I lose sight of her in the cloud of mist. Behind us, Barksdale starts to fire, apparently not caring if he happens to hit one of the barrels with fuel in it. Moments later, I see Amy's shape emerge from the mist. There's a terrifying second where she's out of the mist and in the exposed space between the barrels and the protection offered by the elevator's interior. Barksdale goes off two shots, but the nitrogen mist has obscured his vision too much for him to get a proper aim. However, one of them next to Amy's leg, sending her trembling just before she reaches the entryway of the elevator. I dash out, lift her up, and both elbow into the elevator under cover of the mist. Thanks. Thank God for you remember which barrel was which, she says. We try to push the call button on the elevator. We both step inside and close the doors. Service elevator, made of wood and metal, like something from a coal mine. Step inside and the doors close. The motors on the elevator sound like dying dogs. As the elevator slides down, the light flames give way to complete blackness. That's just checking that done. The check of how long the elevator descends is hard to tell due to the lack of lighting, but it must be another 500 feet underground. The elevator comes to a stop with a shuddering clang and it waits no time to see them. The tunnel stretches out with sparse white bulbs lighting the way. Most of the wall is made of raw earth and rock, but there are pores and concrete slathered in areas used to reinforce the tunnel. I see a warning sign posted on the wall. I want to read it, but there's not much time. Reading this. Warning: Unauthorized personnel only beyond this point. Trespassers will be prosecuted to the folks under the law, including exceptions. Well, glad we got that out of the way. Now that everyone is dead. Suddenly I feel the effects of the painkillers again. My head feels like a balloon. My balance is off kilter. I look up, and when I see that the tunnel's ceiling is less than 6 inches over my head, claustrophobia freezes me for a moment. The ceiling is not high at all, and there is barely enough room for Amy and I to walk side by side, which is for the best because her legs are causing her a great deal of pain. She's soaked in blood and hobbling along. I don't think you can go any further, she says, one seems but trying to keep her composure. Sit down, I tell her. I'll be back. There's no sense in chancing further injury to your leg. She nods and I help her down. She shudders in pain as she eases into a sitting position on the floor. Thanks, she says. Going to stripping the switch should be at the end of this hall. Look up when I see that the tunnel ceiling is less than 6 inches over my head. Claustrophobia freezes from me for a moment. Still, it's much better than facing the monsters around me. Only then, walking through the darkness where they came from as the portal still open. I hold the gun in one hand to feel my way along the wall with the other. The wall under my palm anchors me to reality, to sanity. I'm not in some boundless abyss, but still in the real world. A little while longer at least. Organized that I'm marching to my end. As much as I wish I weren't, it's not surprising. In the moment I saw that those creatures could do to time and space, at least a part of me knew that death was inevitable. I have time to wonder whether my family will really miss me. I see a light ahead. Something more than a speck of blue light. In the darkness of the tunnel, it's like a lighthouse I'm starting to see. I slide forward, my eyes straining to focus on that little light ahead. From somewhere ahead, I start to hear something that sounds like water. It's trickling tightly like a leaky faucet. Behind that, there is something that sounds like wind. A light breeze through an open field on a voice. So anywhere else, the sounds would have been pleasant, but here in the blackness of the tunnel, they are menacing. Stay quiet. I don't make a sound, instead trying to make sense of what's going on around me. I cock my head, trying to concentrate, and then realize that I can see the tunnel walls now. This is odd, because I wasn't able to see them a few seconds ago. It's different from the blue light at the end of the tunnel. It's then that I see the slight shimmering in the air. It's like a foggy mirror steamed over after a shower. And it's moving, just dancing in the air like some abstract firefly. It's not menacing like the creatures, so that is no, it's peaceful, serene. I watch as this shimmer branches out and becomes two, then three, then four. They snake out in different directions, tracing the tunnel walls. Are these shimmers the doors to another dimension that Strickland was talking about? Suddenly I'm surrounded by light above and below me and realize there's no avoiding it. The question is, how am I going through? Head first. Stick my head through the field and feel a tingling sensation, almost pleasant. Reach out slowly, my hand stretching out to one of those shimmers of what I can only assume are some kind of light. They're hypnotizing so much that I don't realize that the tunnel's walls are vanishing. Feels something like wind and a brief electrical pulse pass through me as the lights take me. There's then a very gentle pushing sensation. I somehow know that I am being expelled. I have passed through something, maybe the lights, maybe the tunnel walls, I don't know. But the shimmering lights face a bit still, dancing in the air, but no longer large and branching out. As my eyes adjust, I see right away that I am no longer standing in that dark tunnel far from the cliffhanger. I have no idea where I am, I'm just somewhere else. And I'm terrified. Continue. The ground I land on looks like hot coals. There are tips of many close spreading and unescapable. There's a wash of orange and blue overhead in the sky that makes no sense. It's both beautiful and terrifying at once. A scattering of stars hanging overhead in the LCD. forcing me to jump from the shades of the line. Turns out there are clouds in the sky because everything about it implies nature, whereas mine seems to be amorphous. Everything is knit together, living. I stare a moment longer and then swear I feel the sky breathing. Far off to my right, I see what looks to be a plume of fires flying up bright with no choice of feet. Just as if the ground itself is creating flame. Several more of these flames dot the landscape further out. The air is thick and muggy. And I realize something horrible. I don't know if what I'm breathing here resembles air at all. A place like this, one with compulsive beauty, but also very stark horror, my mind doesn't know what to do. A wave of nausea comes over me and I think I might be sick. I'm not sure if it would be better to fight it or to give in. The white light that brought me here is nowhere to be found. Is anyone else even here? Is there anyone to escape? Brought me here. Can you look around at this nightmarish landscape and see a few other Englishmen doing happenings? There are billowing flames in the distance, not like a volcano explosion, just some kind of slowly crawling embers that defies gravity. This analogy seems even more fitting when I see the thin, faint line of groups of fire bursting into the ground and darting back up in all directions. I get that sick feeling again like Guillermo's when I see something focus on. It's then that I hear a voice, faint distant. Turn and hear it coming out of one of the massive birds that's on the ground. Right inside of that crack, about 10 feet down, a very tall plant lies on a ledge. He's human and looks close to death. He's in the center of a large pool of blood, and his left leg is twisted and torn in a natural way. As I walk to the ledge, he looks up and sees me. Help me, please, the man says. His eyes are wide, although everything about him speaks of weakness. He's close to death or insanity, or both. What is this place? I, I don't know, but we are outside of our home galaxy, possibly even our home universe. Please help. I want to know more, but it seems cruel to steal every second from his last breaths. Just answer my questions. I'm left to I respond. I don't know where the hell I am or how to get back home. The light, he says, it's a doorway might take you back to the facility. Might? No way to know where the doorway is taking you. You could be stuck in another world or between worlds. So it's the only way out of here. I desperately want to help, but there's no way I can reach him. This ledge is too far away and we're quiet. I don't think he can get to you, I say. No, that's not what I mean, he replies, his eyes are on the angle that I almost forget. So I realize that what he wants, and I shake my head. I can't. I can't do that. Please, please. Those things. Yeah, there's the came early. I got dropped along the way. They'll be back. They'll be back and they'll kill me. He says, hand indicating the gun. Be quicker. It's painful. I can't, I repeat. Please. Look at my damn leg. I'm dead anyway. But they're refusing again when I turn all to another static sound, talking about the careless man. Another of those shrill noises and then loud stream of monstrous material as I'm bucking through crevices. Two more come out after it, then a third, then five, then 10, soon others surround me. One is just who turns into a flood. And I suddenly understand the man's reasoning. What would be a mercy? She's going to see that I have only one round left. I can use it on this guy, but I may need it for myself. From beside me, the man pleads again. My God, he said, reveling in his voice. Please. Don't. So sorry, I say I can't. What I don't tell him is that I'm in a situation where I have to keep this one bullet. I can't waste it on him. He whimpers a bit, and I look away, and able to see that misery in his face. Behind me, I hear him feel the like surgical scream, and my responses are creatures. Their volume rises and lets out a cry after cry, which my teeth as the torture continues. The sound of these voices sounds like sick static sound waves. That's when I see the shimmers waving to my right and motion urgently. I look back to the monsters and see that they have now noticed me. Some of them begin floating up the walls and crevices. There are less than 10 feet separating us. Shimmers of white light are within arm's reach. These moments remind me of the vision of the road. I reach out and feel myself accepted by them. I feel the sensation of wind getting pushed out, back to the tunnel and the facility. But it does return this time. This time I feel something else. I feel a tugging sensation that seems to want to drag me in all directions at once. As this world grows dark, I realize that I am somewhere else. There's not darkness in the tunnel. It's darkness in the void, total void. This is a long chapter. There's darkness around me everywhere. Nothingness. I feel nothing under my feet, nothing to my sides. Can't touch or sense anything at all. I don't even know which way is up or down. Still I am all that exists. As I remain there, sheer silence, not even the sound of my heartbeat. The blackness is so deep that I feel I can't distinguish between my thoughts and what is real. Here screaming. I can't tell if it's someone else or am I screaming to fill this void. Try to move. Try to kick and move my arms. It's not working. But it's not clear in what way it's not working. My limbs not moving. Or are they gone numb? It's possible to tell. The body has just become absent of all sensation. I assume this is the place that Strickland referred to. Place between dimensions. This darkness could consume me if it wanted to. Try to roll myself out of it, to have those shimmering lights spin me out, but it isn't happening. At this point, my mind starts to hallucinate. At least I think it does. Are they visions? Am I playing tricks on me? Can't tell. All I can do is watch. See the logging site. There's an image of Tony's lifeless body after I pulled it from under the dozer. See myself talking to Dennis and looks distraught as I tell him that Tony is gone. And the scene rearranges itself and I'm standing between Dennis and Marcus is gone. Changes again, and the shape of Marcus lies on the ground, still hell bent on the revenge even after I let him live. Now in mind, I'm sobbing as I watch Dennis get torn apart by those monsters all over again. I just stood by and watched. Now I'm calmed a bit as I watch myself shoot to the right barrel and helping me to safety. Just when I feel like I can't take any more of this, see the man in that strange world, begging for death. I watch cease distorted and turned by those beasts. All these things are flooding my mind and it feels like my brain is vomiting. And in the midst of it all, I see what's really important to switch. My mind's eye, I see that glowing light in the tunnel, blowing far ahead, small and distant. Try to focus on it. Focus my mind on the tunnel and the image of that flickering light. With a mental effort of strong that there's nearly a physical motion, like myself envisioning that little light in the tunnel as if it were right there in front of me. With that, I feel the wind again, a light breeze that seems to come from everywhere. And then with a relief that I can only imagine feels like death, I move forward. Amen. I'm ejected from the void, and suddenly you're standing in the tunnel again. That little wall of triumph that turns into a bout of weeping. The weeping only intensifies when I see that light up ahead, flickering blue light. Somewhere behind me, I hear a crackling noise. Conveying me down that way by the elevator. They reached her? There's no way I can find out. For now, I have to keep on with my plan decisively. If it works, we're all gone anyway. But I can listen to get a better read on where they are, or I can just make a quick for it. Here. I try my best to listen, attempting to figure out how far away they are. The sound carries strangely down here. Right now, that static sound makes it seem like they're right about 30 yards away. Knowing my time is running out, I run as fast as my aching, increased body will allow, headed straight for the blue light. As I run, I see a different light, a white one, flickering for vision. It's another of those shimmers that go to other worlds. As soon as they are appearing and disappearing, more frequency now. Strickland was right. Things could reach the surface soon and see more monsters. This thought makes me refocus on the blue light, the man-made light, the switch. The blue light gets closer, and as it does, I can make out a square shape around it. This has to be it. Generally, a static scream of the monsters is much closer now. Time to be quick. I grip the gun tightly, knowing I only have one bullet remaining. The bullet that the man in the other world had wanted to use to end his life. I ran ahead into the darkness, my eyes locked to the switch that I assumed was going to be kill not only the creatures but myself as well. As I approach, I see the lever. It's covered by a glass box that I will need to break. The blue light is directly beneath this, highlighting a series of tubes and wires that shake into the working of the device. In the middle of it is blackness, not like the darkly colored part of the machine, just a hole in reality. It's like some sort of illusion. All the while, I can hear the static of the creatures coming and dangerously close now. I have no idea how much time I have. Smash the box. I draw back the stock of the gun and smash the glass box that houses the lever. Glass shattering is like music to my ears. I reach out for the lever, my hand grasps it. Without warning, I feel immense pain course through my body. It feels like fire racing down my back, causing me to fall to one knee in agony. There's only one of them that I can see. The last horribly static noise at me as I ready my gun. One blow left, and Greg lighted and put that poor man in the other place out of his misery. Taking aim on fire, I actually ordered the sprue of white gas in the creature's core, backs away in defensive air noise, I'm not sure. I started to turn back to the switch when I hear a second creature come gliding up behind me. Cynicals melt into me. I scream. Can't help it. I sound like a wild animal. I try to keep fending out the mouth where I can go for a broke, just focusing on letting the creatures be damned. Aim for the lever. I put all my strength into the legs. The moment the monster in front of me draws back, its glue-like arms grab me and pivot backwards. That back strikes the machine, sending agony racking through my body. I'm so thankful I broke the glass for this moment where the coming violence. I stretch out and grab the lever, which one last does prove. Scream. That shows my voice. I jump it down. The tunnel suddenly filled with a flash of intense darkness expands, and the switch swallowing the metal around it. At first, I'm sure this is the end of me, but the darkness consumed me, followed by death. But then another shimmer of dancing white light appears next to me. There are more of those strange light loops in space, like the ones that previously sent me to that other ungodly world in the void. Nothing else to do but die. I try to escape into the shimmer. And that stream of light envelops me with expanding darkness, yet the switch is gone. I feel a huge push to me. My body feels stretched, collapsing like I'm falling in all directions at once. The world goes white, and then there are the pinpoints of stars everywhere. One of them breezes directly to my right, and I see something that looks like a spiral galaxy distorted in its folds. To my right, I see an endless stretch of stars and gas clouds, forming some galactic architecture. Beyond their immeasurable beauty, I know something. I'm seeing the same star patterns over and over. They are repeating like reflections in an endless mirror. Are these are different versions of the same galaxies, same realities? To my left, I see a calm blue world and can barely make out trees, familiar Kentucky trees that have been around for the last few weeks. To my right, I see a copy, an orange world, and there are trees there as well. Something strange, disturbing. As I zoom by, I'm not sure how much control I have in this visual place. If I can distract myself, it's worth trying. Hmm, blue world. So I head to the blue world. Try to focus my mind on heading towards the blue world, not knowing what to expect. A dream, my breath escapes me for a moment. Everything is dark and peaceful, and nothing hurts. Hmm, I carry you. With breath back inside my body, I gasp and open my eyes. I'm back? Back at the logging site? How? Not sure. The shimmers react to the implosion of the switch? Some relaxes and I have no idea. Sit up right away and become instantly dizzy. Amy, I say. There's no reason to think that she's survived whatever happened in that tunnel. There's some sort of certainty that gets me to my feet. And if I somehow back in time before we find the facility, but what happens next makes me realize that can't be true. Start walking forward, I feel a tremor in the ground. Somewhere off in the distance, I hear a metallic groan. The buried facility is being ripped apart into the ground by the activation of the switch. Trees are splintering and falling to the east. I can see them toppling just like dominoes. Snow White barks out, not to survive. It's good riddance. To walk away in the opposite direction of the falling trees, but then I hear a scream, a woman's scream. I turn back and see a stumbling figure come out of the forest. It's Amy. She looks like a ghost. How's she here? She fall into one of those shimmers as well? Sad, I don't care, and run to her. Throw my arm around her armpit, through her grids on me as we head back to the locking site. You okay, I asked? Amy can only nod through her tears. Look to the area where the facility tore the woods apart and see a large plume of smoke rising up into the air. We made it out of the facility alive, and that, I suppose, is the most important thing. It's then that I look up and notice the sky. The sky is beautiful and familiar. I'm obstructed by the trees that have been standing several minutes ago. I take my trusty hard hat off my head and exhale, letting my body relax. It's finally over. Not sure how long it will take me to get back to some semblance of a life, but I know one thing for sure. Any day above ground is going to be a good day. The end. But those 5 chapters. Tough it out. And 36% players decide to take the painkillers. Who survives? And 60% players shot the right barrel, keeping me alive. Mercy. Even 60% players did not kill the man who asked for death. Going home. Even 83% players headed towards the blue world and went home. The end.